Hello everyone, welcome back to Brook in the Air. We were gone for a little bit there, for about a week.
Stuff happened.
Yeah, we had the holiday coming up, we had a lot of stuff on our plates, we had to get ready to go, and we did plan the show originally, but that didn't really work out too well.
Yeah, we're having to deal with a little bit of lighting because it's sunny outside after the eclipse. Yes,
Yeah,
that happened.
we just had the big solar eclipse that any one of you in North America know about. Considering no media channel has shut up about it for the last, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, today
Let's
we're...
talk about something that nobody shut up about for a while either.
Yeah, for good or ill, mostly for the company's ill will, we're going to discuss Boeing. So a bit of background. Everyone knows that Boeing builds airplanes. Everyone knows that.
Boeing is one of two builders of airplanes.
No.
Big builders.
They're one of two major buildings of airplanes. The other being Airbus. They're one of four altogether in the commercial civilian sector. One of which being Boeing, and the others being Airbus, Embraer, and Bombardier.
I thought Bombardier was also called Mitsubishi.
No. Bombardier is owned by Mitsubishi.
Aren't we particular?
Well, yeah, because originally the CRJ, the Bombardier builds, is Canadair regional jets, built by the obsolete Canadair company, which was kind of bought out by Bombardier, and then it was bought out entirely by the Japanese company Mitsubishi. So when you fly on Bombardier, whether it be 700, 750, 900, you're always going to be flying on a Japanese aircraft.
Which means that it should be pretty well built. Emphasis on should.
Yes. But in the defense sector, there's Lockheed Martin, there's Northrop Grumman, rather, and there's Raytheon, which mostly builds military weapons, and there's Boeing. If my tech minion can get the Earth slides up.
It should. Alright, so now the planes?
No. So, a little bit of background. Boeing's civilian sector is the biggest one so far, but it's also one that's been taking the most hits lately.
But why are we discussing Boeing at this point in time?
Well, after the 2019 MAX crashes, it results in the death of over 350 people from Lion Air in Indonesia and Ethiopian Airlines in Africa. Ethiopia, obviously, in Africa. They were quiet for a couple of years during the pandemic, and then emerged with the latest Alaska troubles, with the blowout of the door, and the slew of United breakdowns and the Southwest breakdowns. Now, a bit of background. Boeing was originally founded in 1916 by William Billy Boeing. Now, he eventually had a falling out with one of his friends, Lester Lancaster. Don't quite remember his full name, but anyway, he wasn't that important because there's not even a Wikipedia article about him in the first place. But his last name did start with a W. They built a seaplane manufacturing facility a little while into their friendship. And that did okay for a little while, but eventually the friend went on to, for him, better things. But Boeing, he was ambitious and decided to couple up with other engineers and build additional airplanes and manufacturing and facilities and avionics tech. Now, in 1919, it became a conglomerate and got everything all together in the area, and then in the locale rather. And in 1925, he started building airplanes for the U.S. Army Signal Corps, which would evolve into the Army Air Corps, which would evolve into the Army Air Force, and then the U.S. Air Force in general. Okay, I guess we can move on to that one.
No, I didn't click it. It just did it itself when I changed screens.
The
system is touchy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
We're still trying to get a good remote that works so she can change the slides on her own.
I thought we had one.
We do, but it's been being touchy.
Now, in 1926, Boeing was divested of a lot of its ownership elements, and basically United Airlines was founded from the lessors. So that's how we get United Airlines, because as United Airlines goes, they were basically the remnants of what Boeing was not allowed to keep together. Now, Boeing manufactured a lot of equipment during World War II, such as the B-17 Flying Fortress, and they later built the B-29 Super Fortress, the B-25 Mitchell early on, and the B-26 Marauder.
And who was Boeing's competition for a long time in the civilian sector?
It's all Douglas.
We'll get to them later.
Now, originally it was just Douglas, who manufactured a lot of military aircraft too. They mostly went in and made the Marauder and the Invader, the B-26, but Boeing would actually subsume them in the end.
Well, wouldn't subsume them. They kind of joined forces, and that's when we started getting some problems.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to skip ahead there through quiet years.
Yeah, because basically, warplanes, some
Space exploration.
space exploration, civilian aircraft, DC-6, 7, 8, 9, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Some Boeing planes.
And DC-10 at the end.
Yeah, some Boeing planes as well. So now we reached what year?
Now we reached 1995, right after the storm, and all that shit went down. And basically, Boeing decides to finally buy out their longtime competition and buys up McDonnell Douglas.
Now, if you also want a good breakdown of this as well, for anything that we have missed before we finish, John Oliver did a really good breakdown of this. But be careful, because we're actually in a huge PG and he does not.
Yeah. Well, he can afford not to keep things PG.
Oh yeah, he's on HBO. Anywho.
Now, you can tell from the background here, this is Boeing's Chicago headquarters before they moved to Virginia.
Wasn't that actually like their second? So they started out where?
In Seattle.
Yeah, they started in Seattle, Washington. Why did they start in Seattle?
Well, that was Boeing's main home, and is...
Main home of what?
No, William Boeing's main home.
Oh, I thought that was their engineering home, wasn't it?
Well, it's still the place their primary factories.
And then they moved to Chicago to be closer to United because of the partnership?
Yeah. And then they moved to Virginia outside the Pentagon to be close to the defense contractors.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned all that and having her explain it is because it kind of shows where it's progressing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's important.
It is. And after Boeing bought out... And you can click forward. After Boeing bought out the competition in the form of McDonnell Douglas, Boeing focused on their 777 creations. Now, this is their... I don't want to say new, because the 777X is coming out soon. But this was their...
They tried to make it a game changer, didn't they?
Yes. And many airlines succeeded in their own ways. This is the 777-200. So it's not quite as big as the 300 model. This is undergoing test flights at a Boeing field.
This is when everybody started going for more energy efficient, right? Sorry, fuel efficient.
Fuel efficient. You can tell the engines were supplied by GE.
Yeah, because they used to follow, what was it, Pratt & Whitney and Rolls-Royce?
Yeah. And then Rolls-Royce became the choice engine developer from Airbus. And Pratt & Whitney became the choice engine developer for military aircraft.
So, they went with General Electric. Because American. Sometimes it is really that dumb.
It is. I mean, if you look at the creation of Air Force One, I'm sorry, the 747-400 was originally going to be an Airbus.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted the Airbus A380 to be a new Air Force One.
But let me guess, Boeing in its usual panache.
Nope, that was entirely the White House doing because they want the new Air Force One planes to be strictly American creations. And Boeing says, okay.
Give us money!
And they have a very, very unique and rigid contract construction with the DoD.
And we're going to see no problems with that whatsoever.
Right. So the new 747s are going to be 747-8i models that were originally destined for their airline, but they're currently being refitted for service with the White House.
With the giant cost to the taxpayers, just like you! Speaking of that, who wants to see an airplane being born? Seriously, it looks like a phallus with wings.
So this is Boeing's Renton factory in just outside Seattle. Boeing has 3 factories, one in Renton, one in Everett, and one in South Carolina. 2 are unionized, one is not, because South Carolina is a right-to-work state.
And of course, that's where we've been getting problems. But we'll talk about that later.
So right here is a 777 under construction. You can see the the wings under construction and a lot of the fuselage. Right now, it's nothing more than in a shell, essentially. But they're steadily constructing the internals and a bit of the externals.
We can also tell how much Boeing loves America.
Yeah, with the massive American flag in the background. Now, keep in mind, this is in Everett, Washington, just outside Seattle.
Alright, now to give you about how big the honkin' thing is and how tiny this is by comparison, that's the factory.
Now, no. This is one of 3 factories.
Oh, isn't this the Everett factory?
It's the Everett factory. This is also home to the largest building in the world. That one building back there, it says Boeing in the background, it has all the blue hangar doors, is the largest building in the world by volume.
Yay.
It was originally the 747 construction line. You can still see a couple 747s there. Like the green unpainted version right there. After that, it was retooled to be the 787 Dreamliner construction area. Now, this factory complex does not have AC whatsoever. Their version of AC is to simply open the hangar door.
And use gigantic fans.
Sometimes.
But speaking of that, on the edge of the factory area, we have this. It's so pretty.
Now, this is actually at a different factory. This is at the Renton factory. This is the 737 under construction. The 737 is, well, eventually destined, this one is destined for Ryanair.
Really?
Yes.
Well, gotta pay the bills.
They can tell it's Ryanair because of the emblem on the far wingtip, the tail fin, and the Ryanair itself on the winglets.
And they paid rock bottom price for it.
Actually, when you have groups like Ryanair and Southwest that contract exclusively to Boeing for a lot of their planes, if not all of them, they have bulk price deals.
Yeah, we'll get into some bulk price deals and how Boeing's losing them later. Or actually, we'll probably get into it right now.
So, United does not have a bulk price deal with Boeing.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
Well, mainly because United has had a lot of bad press coming from Boeing. Because, like, 99% of their problems literally has stemmed directly from Boeing. It has not been on them. It's strictly on Boeing.
Even though Boeing is saying that it's not, but of course they are.
It's like here we have a 737 600 model and a 757. I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry. Yeah, 737 600 and a 777 200 taking off. This was at San Francisco.
Ah, yes. The place where the most Boeings go in and out of on a regular basis, right?
No.
Huh.
That would be tied between Chicago and Denver.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But yes, on a side note, who wants to talk about a death machine? The death machine!
So, this is Boeing's famed 737 MAX, and I have covered MAX in depth on a show I did last year. If you search through my vlogs, you can find it easily enough. It's still up there. One of the door plugs on MAX, of course, came apart on Alaska Airlines. We all know that. Because it was not installed properly.
Wasn't this the one that also had the problems with the MCAS?
Yes.
Hence the death machine!
Now, the MAX comes in 3 varieties, the Dash 8, Dash 9, Dash 10, which is supposed to succeed the 800, 900, and 1000 models.
So basically, first death, second death, third death?
Now, of course, Techman is irreverent.
What? I'm going to continue calling it death machine until I am proven otherwise. Seriously, the 737 MAX has had more deaths per plane than any other, and that includes the Tenerife accident.
No.
Per plane.
No.
Every single plane has had a 100%.
Planes at Tenerife were 747s, and each plane lost upwards of 300 people.
It lost to 100% for one of them, and lost, what was it, 80%?
Around 90%.
90%. How many 737 Maxes lost 100%?
2
Just 2.
so far.
I'm talking. Well, it was for a dumber reason, and one of the pilots couldn't control. It was the pilot's fault in Tenerife for at least one of them. The MCAS system? No.
No, I went into in depth on the MCAS system when I covered the 737 MAX a year ago. Again, you can find that easily now from my vlogs here on the channel.
Yeah.
They redid the MCAS, and they didn't pull it out, but they modified it so that it cannot activate unless it triggers both sensors on the aircraft.
Yeah.
Simultaneously.
But when they fixed one problem, they basically oopsied the plug door.
That wasn't really a problem caused by MCAS. It was a
No, I'm
lapse.
saying it was another problem with the plane.
It was a lapse in mechanical judgment. And if you quit interrupting me,
Never. Where they should have found it.
yeah, this is the 737 MAX factory in Everett. It's somewhat smaller than the 777 factory and 787 factory in Renton.
But didn't they move all of this to South Carolina?
Half of it.
And all the problems that they've been having have only been the South Carolina built planes?
So far.
It's almost like union work actually does better.
Yeah, but see, the problem is they're bean counters at Boeing, and they don't want to pay for union workers.
And where did the bean counters from Boeing come from?
From McDonnell Douglas. See, they have actually traced the root of the problem back to the merger with McDonnell Douglas in the first place. Once that merger was completed, the leaders at McDonnell Douglas became the leaders at Boeing over time. And that's when the problems really stymied Boeing and really expanded.
Let's change the culture. It won't be a problem. Nothing can go wrong, go wrong, go wrong.
You even have MCAS installed now on the U.S. Air Force's KC-46 Pegasus.
Because yes, let us install a death program to quote unquote help you fly that will crash the gigantic gas tank into the ground. Great plan.
The KC-46 carries over 310,000 gallons of fuel.
It won't totally be a bomb. But let's see where these little babies come from.
So this is a better view of the Renton factory, which is again the largest building in the world. Boeing spent about $4 billion over the course of roughly 3 years building this. It was originally created to house the construction of the 747 jumbo jet. Now you can see the size of the cars there in front of the hangar doors show you just how small it really is.
So, out of curiosity, when it snows up there, do they have people get on top of the buildings with shovels?
Yep. And shove it off.
That is just hilarious.
And often they're the same. You just have them go up the roof, up through roof access, carrying a shovel, and they just spend the day shoveling and shoveling and shoveling.
But at the same token, wouldn't it be warm enough on the roof to where everything just melts?
And in some cases, in a lot of the areas of the roof. However, in the non-inflated areas,
yeah.
it's worse. Now, everything you see in the background up until Puget Sound over there is all Boeing property. Yeah. This is a massive factory complex. And there's cranes attached to the roof inside there that are dozens of feet long and wide, and they are automatically moving.
And they really built this on the Puget Sound as well, because then they can literally just take it from the ship to the factory.
Yeah. And those cranes can actually go outside and pick things up from the factory and move them into the interior of the factory and drop them anywhere that they need. And they're on tracks in the ceiling.
Think shipping crate cranes is pretty much what you're dealing with.
Oh, yeah. And again, they're on track. So if this was a track, cranes would go.
Yep. Anywho, more pictures.
Now these are the Alaska Airlines MAX planes that were blown, that had the door plug blowout.
Basically, it came off like a blowout on a human. Seriously, there's a video, I think, or two on YouTube. It's rather terrifying.
Can't really see on the outside too much, but on the inside, shows a great view, and then the video taken by a passenger of the door blowing, going.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into some pictures in a bit.
Oh yeah, it cost roughly over $5 million a plane.
But it was fine.
So that door was actually between business and business and economy class.
On the left side, I believe.
Yeah.
But yes. Alright, on to the next picture. And I think this was, that's the CEO, right? And
The
that would be
CEO,
the
Calhoun?
last CEO?
The outgoing CEO from Calhoun, yeah.
That was, oh god.
It was Calhoun himself.
Oh, that was Calhoun?
Mm-hmm. This was in 2017.
We have the best people here at Boeing.
He was best friends with Donald Trump.
I'm shocked.
And this was, if you look at the actual seal of the President of the United States, and Trump giving the red, white, and blue standard wave out at the 787 Dreamliner rollout.
This will never have a problem whatsoever, just like my presidency. It is the best.
And this was the 787-10 Dreamliner, the largest size. And I guarantee you, Trump does not know how it works, or does he care?
Well, let's be honest. How many people actually fully know how every part of a plane works besides you?
Other av geeks? Some pilots?
Airline mechanics, yes. Okay. Then we have
The actual Boeing signature. Now, the interesting thing about this is that on the left side, the actual emblem there, this signature symbol, was copied from McDonnell Douglas. The only Boeing original is the wording.
now we get along to play places where people will crap their pants a bit. Yes, this is the actual picture. Now imagine it going at how fast is the plane going?
280 miles per hour.
Okay.
I'm sorry, no. 280 knots.
So think about this. Think about driving a car at top speed. And that'll give you some reference of how much the wind was whipping. Wouldn't you hate to be the people who were sitting right next to the door?
Now, there were no people in that immediate row, thankfully. There could have easily have been, but on that plane, by happenstance, no one had booked that row. The child right behind that row got second-degree burns.
Yeah. So,
and people were like, how did he get burns? From the wind.
Yeah. Wind has friction, people. You remember how when your airbag goes off, or you see airbags go off, it burns people? That's called friction. Now, here's the other thing. If the door had come off just wrong, instead of the way it did, it could have taken out the tail. So let me just preface it with that. It would not have been that hard to have taken out the tail if the wind was going a certain way. Then everybody on the plane would have died.
Oh yeah, because you would have had a disturbance in stabilizers, which would have caused a flat spin.
If not taking off the entire tail.
It wouldn't have taken off the entire tail, but you wouldn't have had to. Taking off part of the fin would have been all it needed to send the aircraft into the ground.
But yeah, so this is an Alaska one. Now we'll go on to showing you a couple others. United losing a tire.
Now you might ask, why is the picture grainy? Because they couldn't get an actual airborne picture of the plane, because honestly the plane was just climbing out.
Yeah, it was in process of takeoff. And what happened?
The wheel was installed incorrectly, and because of that it fell off the gear strut.
And this plane had done how many flights?
The plane itself had gone through at least 16,000 takeoff landing cycles.
So why was it at maintenance fault?
Because maintenance was supposed to have caught it. But, I mean, there was no way to catch this.
So basically what you're saying is the instructions from Boeing were wrong, and the part that was sent to them was incorrect.
It was an inadequate part, and this is not part of the things that are usually checked and much less a D-check. And
So,
there was no reason for a D-check. The plane has regularly scheduled maintenance cycles.
so basically they followed everything Boeing had said, but they were given a crappy part, told to install it wrong, and Boeing is still going to blame the maintenance people.
Oh yeah, because Boeing doesn't want to take responsibility for its actions.
Now, did they take responsibility for the Alaska door?
No, but they settled out of court and paid Alaska $168 million.
And they're just now waiting to get sued by the people.
Yeah, which would be a class action suit. And lawyers have advised the passengers that they do have a case.
Oh, they do. And in fact, who has a case with this? Would it be perhaps the person with the car?
That was an employee, actually, too.
Yeah. So that was an employee of United, or was it of the airport?
Of United.
So it was an employee of United. Now, how big, because this is a what plane?
777?
So a 777 tire is about how big? So basically you're saying half the size of the car.
Oh yeah, easily.
And how high up is the plane?
Right now, the plane is about maybe 2,000 to 3,000 feet.
So the question is terminal velocity.
Did not achieve terminal velocity, came close to it.
And how much does the tire weigh?
Roughly, oh god, maybe 1,000 pounds.
So basically, the car should have been absolutely flattened.
Oh yeah, because not just the weight itself, the weight being the tire, it would have been rate times distance and acceleration, distance times acceleration.
So basically,
and rate would increase as the tire dropped.
so it slammed into the ground, blew out its nitrogen, and also these are steel bolted tires, aren't they?
Yeah. Because they've got to absorb impact when they come in contact with the runway.
So let's give you guys an idea. Ever see a truck tire explode? This is that times 50,000. It is terrifying.
You ever see that clip in Final Destination movies
Yes.
when the logs are like coming off and then spiraling into your windshield when you're on the road? Like that.
Mm. Except this, you're looking at it from upwards and going, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? Oh, shit! But yes, that is not the troubles. But wait, there's more, and there's some we don't even have pictures of. So, let's see, they've had oil fires and engines.
Mhm.
What else?
We have one that we actually do have a picture of. Southwest Airlines plane with it. Yep, right here. The cowling ripped off the engine.
Which, the cowling ripped off the engine, and then, of course, let me check something. There we go, okay. So basically, we are dealing with the fact that, I believe when you told me about this, the cowling came off, was almost sucked in by the engine,
Hit one of the flaps.
hit one of the flaps, shredded the engine, I believe, right? Because of what it ripped off.
Largely, the engine was okay, but there were evidence of
Potential that the United plane could have landed, but it might have torn up the runway.
Hmm? Oh yeah.
And proceeded to crash.
They have evidence of another Boeing plane in Thailand actually trying to land without wheels. Gear down, but without wheels. And its gear actually stripped along and dug into the runway.
It created furrows, right?
Fire in the undercarriage. The people had to be evacuated on slides, and largely the plane was written off because they could not salvage the plane.
Yeah, I mean, this also brings up, because I guarantee you that most of these United accidents, Alaska and Southwest, these are all going to make it into one of the shows that we cannot recommend enough.
Mayday air disasters.
Mayday air crash disasters. It will probably be in one of the newer seasons, but probably not for a couple, because how long will these investigations probably take?
Upwards of 5 to 7 years.
So, and speaking of Southwest, who is Boeing already blaming?
Southwest Airlines.
And to the point of, I believe you said that Boeing sued Southwest?
They were in the process of suing, yes.
And Southwest is already prepared to countersue.
Because Southwest has a very deep contract with Boeing, because Southwest uses only Boeing 737 planes.
So, and then what has the fallout been so far to Boeing?
Their entire executive board has been fired. Their president is stepping down. President and CEO is stepping down on December 31st of this year.
And taking a lot of stuff with him, too.
What is he taking with him?
Remember everything but his annual bonus?
Oh, yes, he's not taking his bonus, but he is taking the golden parachute, which includes
He's not taking his $2.4 million, but he's taking how much?
about $850 million.
$850 million, but not taking the 2.4.
That includes his base salary, his bio package, his pension, all together in one wrapped up package.
And so is the rest of the C-suite. They're all taking their magical, massive amounts of money.
Mm-hmm. And they'll have nothing to do with the company again, but they don't need to. They're set for life.
Yeah.
They don't have to work again.
They're probably gonna get hired as the CEO of another company. They usually do that. They bounce around.
Mm-hmm. The CEO that hired to replace Calhoun, the outgoing CEO, is actually a woman by the name of
Woman who's going to be sacrificed.
yeah.
Because we will sacrifice her to the shareholder gods. Don't worry, nothing can go wrong.
1 second, trying to find this here.
Yeah, no worries.
Hold on, talking to you.
But yeah, it is to the point of ridiculous, and Boeing is going to do what every single other company does and blame everyone else, because why take responsibility for it when you...
Stephanie Pope is going to be Boeing's new CEO.
Wait, where has she worked before? I find that name sounds familiar.
Let's see. No, she was relegated to take over as new CFO. Oh, this is brand new information. Okay.
Sorry, we're doing research temporarily, right on the fly.
I was all set, but this is brand new information. System delight.
But why?
But she will be appointed as CFO and CEO.
So yes, they're replacing a bean counter with a bean counter. No offense to Stephanie Pope. She may do well, she may not, but Boeing are sticking with bean counters. Why?
Well, it's like Southwest when they had their issues going on. They decided to stick with bean counters. And the reason why is because they value greed more than anything else. Other than when they are truly a company worthy of respect, when they had engineers heading up their company.
Well, and also wasn't Southwest originally founded by people who cared about passengers?
Yeah. By a combination of customer service people and engineers. Now, the head of United,
Scott Kirby.
has
Who's very angry man at this point.
who is very angry, sent a message directly to Boeing CEO saying, "You are once engineers, act like it."
Yeah. There's a very good chance that Scott Kirby was actually the one who made the entire C-suite step down.
There is actually him and numerous other airline CEOs got together and met with Boeing's C-suite without Calhoun present, and essentially elected, or rather voted to essentially have them all step down.
Yeah. Because since Southwest, United, Alaska, and all those companies buy quite a lot of Boeing planes, they are in essence...
The stock prices of United and other airline manufacturers and other airlines essentially are suffering because of these Boeing screw-ups.
Yeah. So I believe that let's see, didn't United say they were going to switch to other people?
Airbus.
Yeah. They're going to almost entirely switch to Airbus.
Now, United has canceled their 90 aircraft strong MAX 9 order and switched to Airbus A320s, and have canceled their 50 strong MAX 10 order and switched to MAX 8s.
Yeah, it's...
Because MAX 8s are proven as by comparison to MAX 9s and 10s.
Yeah, well... And to give you an idea, I have actually been requesting for when we go on our trip to San Francisco again. Yes, we're going to San Francisco again, boys and girls.
This will likely be our last trip in the U.S. as U.S. citizens.
Yeah. So, yeah. Things are happening. We'll give you guys some updates as it gets closer.
What have you been requesting?
Oh, we'll give them updates.
Oh, you said this whole thing segued from you. You were requesting when we take a trip.
Oh, I have been requesting that we not take Boeings, which is a far cry from when it used to be that people would say, if it's not Boeing, I ain't going.
But we really don't have a choice in that.
Right. United has mostly Boeing planes, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up and deal with it
88% of United planes are Boeing.
for now.
They do have A350s in order, but those have been on order for 4 years, and they have yet to determine when they're going to receive them.
Because now that everybody's buying from Airbus,
Airbus can't keep up with manufacturing.
yeah, so there's a very good chance we're gonna get more Airbus.
Those poor Frenchmen cannot keep up with the manufacturing pace.
Yeah. But after our last trip, we're going to keep you guys updated on what's going to be going on with us moving to Germany.
So that's about it on Boeing, though. So where we stand right now. Boeing is not circling the drain yet, but changes are happening.
They've kind of been body hit a lot on their own fault.
Oh, yeah. It's basically a little kid named Boeing going up in the playground doing big eyes and saying, "Hey, hit me!"
No, I think it was first talking smack and like, "I got this, you guys." Thump, thump.
And,
I totally am not gonna hear.
And United and the rest of the airlines are the kids sitting on the back wall going, "Really? Really?"
Oh wait, then I used an incorrect example. I know what this is. This is Fail Army. This is Fail Army.
So anyway, that's where we stand Boeing right now. We will keep you updated with our move, with everything else going on. We are still looking for video designers and video editors.
We have one who has been doing as much as he can, but we can always use more.
As the old saying goes, many hands make light labor.
Yes. I know that we have had a couple buffering issues today, but I have a theory of why that is. It's Monday, it was Eclipse Day, and everyone's like, "I want to see stuff on TV." So we apologize for any of the buffering that happened on the live show.
Just blame TechMan, that's what I do. So if anyone is interested in learning more about Boeing's origins, please visit my blog. It has not yet been monetized. I'm still working on that. I just did send my research proposal off to Goethe University, so that has taken a lot of my time. I do hope to put out a new blog this week. It should be up this week. I'll be doing a fleet analysis, probably looking at Etihad's analysis, actually.
Yeah. And always, we cannot stress this enough. If you want a certain subject covered in the blog or the vlog, tell us.
All you gotta do is comment.
Be like, "Hey, cover this thing. Hey, cover this thing." Also, another thing, we do have a FlightAware crew as well to keep track of planes coming in and out of the Cleveland area.
Hopkins International Airport, which is like 5 miles from us.
TechMan is actually going to, potentially as soon as tomorrow, going to have a whole setup for listening to the approach station of Cleveland Hopkins as well. That will be on live ATC.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of it in the way of our
current updates. Yeah, so far. I have started to put out regular news articles on pretty much all social media channels. From Twitter, I refuse to call it X, I'm sorry. Instagram.
But Elon Musk is sad.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well. So please join me there and reach your heart's content.
Yeah, she'll keep putting stuff out on Facebook until Mark Zuckerberg gets angry as usual.
Yeah.
Apparently that's his only emotion.
We will see you guys next Sunday, hopefully. Don't think anything is going to go wrong with that. But who knows?
We survived the rapture!
Yeah. So I will see you then, and until then, stay safe, safe travels, take care of each other and yourselves, and I'll see you in the air.